Good morning, YouTube. How's everybody doing on this fine Thursday morning? It is hot and humid here. We usually don't get a lot of humidity, but we're getting it, and we're getting plenty sun in certain places. But today's topic is domestic violence. I've been perusing the net a little bit there, and I'm hearing about a lot of domestic violence incidents. When I was younger, we didn't get a chance to hear about domestic violence because YouTube wasn't around, social media wasn't around. So we heard about a little, but we didn't hear the full extent of it, the backstories, and all of that. So, my question today to you guys is, have you ever been involved in a domestic violent relationship? And if you have, how did you handle that situation? Maybe you speaking in the comments might help someone else if they come across it and read it. So, uh, I personally really haven't had to deal with domestic violence in my relationships because I really don't play that. But other people have. Do you think that they stay in these relationships because they don't have a choice, they're weak, uh, don't have anywhere to go? Uh, tell me your take on it because I'm seeing that it's becoming more of a trend. Uh, People getting with people just to say that they have someone. And then when they find out their true colors, they are not getting away from them. They're staying stuck in those situations, even with family help. Family usually tries to intervene in those situations, but if that person goes back, do you think that the family should keep trying to intervene in those situations? Uh, because domestic violence doesn't just affect the people that is doing the domestic violence and that are receiving the violence. The kids see this stuff, then they turn out to be abusers. The community is seeing this stuff, so they're thinking that it's normal. Uh, I'm pretty confused about it myself, and because I want to ask another question here. Do you think that when someone fights back the abuser, that they should get in trouble if they hurt that abuser? Do you think that the court systems should be a little bit more investigative when people ask for protection orders? Do you think that the system is actually helping these victims? Because I really don't see that the system is helping, especially in a lot of different states, because a lot of different states really don't want to handle that. So they will gloss over it and tell the lady, it's we don't want to do the paperwork, so skip it, right? So do you think it's the system's fault that a lot of these high profile incidents are occurring? Do you think that it's the person who is the victim's fault for staying in that relationship? Uh, like I said, I'm curious to find out what you guys think. So, like, comment, share, and subscribe, uh, and give a like if you so choose to. Because I think that we need to stop putting our hands on our partners. If you're not their mother or father, like a partner is not your kid. So I don't think that you should be putting your hands on anyone if you have a problem with someone that you emotionally can't deal with, then you should leave that situation. Abuser side, victim side. you should walk away, no matter what you have to go through. Uh, I've tried to save a few people from domestic violence throughout the years, and they just continue to go back. So, what I had to do eventually is step back and mind my own business. Have you guys found yourself in a situation like that where someone's getting abused and you try to intervene? And I really just try to help that person. I didn't try to physically get into it with the person that was abusing them. I just gave the person that was being abused options to be able to get away from it. And guess what? Those people decided, and they stayed in the situation. So what can a person do if a person stays in that situation? There's nothing that you can do. Uh, I've seen families try to intervene, and people actually get incarcerated because they took matters in their own hands because of the abuse. Nobody wants to see their mother, daughter, sister, brother, or anybody abused. Uh, so I'm seeing it so much more. So I would like to know if you guys are kind of studying the mentalities of these abusers, maybe the past of these abusers. Maybe they were abused, and maybe that's all they know how to solve situations is with abuse instead of talking out problems. Every couple has problems. There's no doubt about it. I don't know a couple ever that was just kissy kissy all the time. But so we have problems. So are we teaching our young people how to solve problems, or are the parents of these people to blame? Because maybe this person saw their mother and father in an abusive situation, so they think that it's normal. Even the victim may have seen their mother and father in an abusive situation, so they think that that's normal. That's why I said I'm just here to ask questions, see what you guys think about domestic abuse and domestic violence, and how can we prevent this stuff? Because life is too short to be nervous all the time, scared for your safety, scared for your children's safety. I think before, I'm not a positive if I've mentioned this before, but I had a friend who was in a domestic violence situation, and this dude was throwing the kid against the wall, her against the wall, and eventually she went out of her mind because she thought that she was in a fairy tale romance. Turned out she actually was not in a fairy tale. So, yeah, just, YouTube, I ask these questions so that people can think and that we can share our knowledge of these things with each other so that we can possibly shore these types of things up, because it's getting out of hand. There is laws in place. I don't know if those laws are strict enough. I don't know if they're strong enough. We got a nice old Ford truck going by. I see you, old boy. Yeah, he got the old F-250, that real steel one. So yeah, so what can we do to help these victims, and what can we do to help these abusers get away from abusing people? Because there's many types of abuse. There's verbal abuse, there's physical abuse, there's mental abuse, there's financial abuse, there's all types of abuse going around. So what, as we as outsiders, what can we possibly do to help these situations? Because they're occurring too frequently. These families are being so torn apart. Because if you stay in a situation like that, how is your family going to look at you, right? Especially if they're there to try to help you. Do you think that they will